All right, this one will be interesting. It ought to trigger somebody. So this is about religion, about do I believe in God? Do I believe in Christianity? Do I believe in Islam? Do I believe in Judaism? Or am I agnostic or am I an atheist? Okay. Uh, I'm familiar with Christianity. I grew up as a Christian. Christianity says that there's a heaven and a hell. There's a creator, Jesus, all that stuff. On one side says, hey, morality, but on the other side it says, do what I tell you, and if you don't, you're going to burn in hell. If you do what I tell you to do, then you go to heaven. So there's a love side of it, but then there's a control side of it, right? And Islam is the same way, hey, we love you if you do everything we tell you, but if you refuse to, we're just going to have to kill you, right? So that's a problem. Go to the opposite side, atheism. There's no God. There's no creator. You guys are all nuts. However, when you get into it and you start asking questions like, oh, okay, no God, no creator, nothing spiritual out there. Everything's just a random, it just happened and there's no reason for anything, right? Okay, so you know this for a fact? Well, no. Does science say, or is there some kind of scientific theory? Is there evidence to prove that there's no creator and no God? No. Okay, so how can you say that there's absolutely 100% positive there's no creator out there? Well, you can't, right? And an atheist says there's absolutely no creator out there without any evidence backing them up. So that's why I question anybody who says that they're an atheist, because they have zero evidence to back that up. So you have one side that says, do what we tell you or burn in hell. You have the other side that says, hey, there's no God, but I can't prove it. And so we have agnostic, which means I don't know. I think that's the most honest place to be. If you don't have evidence, if you think something but you don't have any evidence, you should say, I don't know for sure, okay? You can definitely see the problem with, do what I tell you or burn in hell. You can also see the problem with there's no creator, but I have no evidence to prove it. And so I think we should all look for the evidence that proves our beliefs. And so for me, I'm not agnostic, I'm not Christian, and I'm not atheist, okay? I'm a theist, which means I believe there is a creator. I believe this creator is alive and well and is observing our situation and wants to help us. So similar to Christianity, but I don't believe in the whole heaven and hell, do what I tell you or you're going to burn. I believe in the morality side of it, ethics, but I also believe that we have the right to ask questions. I believe in integrity, our own personal integrity, where we don't have to be loyal to God. We don't have to be loyal to a religion. We need to be loyal to our integrity, to our honesty and our own mind, and be able to ask questions. And if somebody gets offended or mad about it, well, that's the problem. People should not be mad about you asking questions. And if they do, that's about control, okay? If you're not allowed to ask questions, they're just trying to control you, be it on the left or the right, science or Christianity or Islam or Judaism. They're just trying to control you if you can't ask questions. Questions are looking for truth, okay? Truth is like light, L-I-G-H-T. When you shine light, you can find the actual truth in a matter, and that's what we need to do, okay? Be it science or atheism or whatever. We need to ask questions. And so for me, as a theist, I look all around me and I see all of this nature. I see us as human beings alive, where all this stuff is impossible. This can't happen randomly. This can't happen without some kind of a source. Where's the source? Where's the source of life? It didn't happen spontaneously. I know that there's evidence of this and there's evidence of that, but they can't spontaneously make life in a laboratory. And there's evidence of the RNA and this and that, but I think what they want is, it's like they have a goal in mind and they have a theology in mind, or an anti-theology in mind, a Scientology in mind, a science in mind, where they don't want there to be a creator, and so they're trying to force a reality where there's no creator needed. I think so. They already have that in their mind. They want to prove that no creator is necessary. So instead of following actual physical evidence that they can see, starting with what's in the mirror, and then looking at all the life around us and how it all works together, and all these organisms work together, how they all have their own, mechanism, and they, miraculously, is what it is. There's no way any of this stuff can just happen to pop into existence out of nowhere. And yet, on the science side or the atheist side, they say, yeah, it did. And yet they have no evidence to prove that. In fact, they ignore the evidence that says this is impossible because you can't do it in a lab. And yet they ignore that evidence. And instead of saying, yep, you're right, it has to come from somewhere, instead they deny it. So to say, well, we haven't proven it yet, right? And so in the same way, I can say, well, I know that there's a giant dragon in space. I just haven't found it yet, right? I know it's out there, but I just haven't found it yet. That's the logic that scientists use when they say, hey, we can create life in a laboratory. We just haven't done it yet. That's bullcrap. And they know it. And I know it. They haven't done it because it can't be done, because it never happened spontaneously in the first place. And it cannot be done by human beings, ever. Okay? This is done by a living creator who's able to create things into existence. This creator does not live inside of the universe. It lives outside of the universe on that spiritual plane. It's kind of like, a parallel universe, but this universe is a spiritual universe, okay? Nothing physical in that spiritual universe, but it's kind of like parallel to us, so that, we can actually communicate with, like prayer, right? Communicate with the spiritual realm, right? And so that's my perspective on this. And I can see and feel evidence of this. I can, okay? And you might have your own stories. But the whole idea of, atheism, saying there's definitely no God, but having no evidence, that lends to skepticism, and should. On the same side with Christianity, when you start asking questions, they get mad about it, things that don't make sense, well, kind of lends to not being credible if you have questions and they can't answer those questions. Same goes with other religions. If you can't ask questions, or if you do, they get mad about it. It's about control. So hope this stuff helps. Please ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And when you do ask questions, wait for the response, and you'll know. Are these controllers? Do they want to know the truth? Are they searching? Or do they just want to tell you what you have to believe? So, all right. I'm done here. Hope this helps someone. Hope you're able to kind of free yourself from this mind control on either end so that you can think for yourself. The whole goal is for you to have your own personal integrity, so you can think for yourself and you can come up and find the evidence for yourself without relying on somebody else to tell you what's true and what's not. All right. I'm done, I think.